It's Monday, March the 18th. And I think I finally got the minute taste of puke out of my mouth. Now, I haven't come up with for some reason, I call it burgled. You know, sometimes when you burp and you gurgle, but it's like just a little bit of vomit or something, like came up with it. Yeah, I did that, that's how I woke up. That was my wake-up call. It's like, here you go. So, I'm always worried when that happens that I'm, like, actually gonna throw up for whatever reason. So I kind of, like, jolt up. I was asleep here in the chair, of course. I did get 2 of my stories watched this morning. I didn't realize I was that far behind on General Hospital. I needed to watch Thursday and Friday. But I did, and then I fell asleep. And I ate, hamburger noodle casserole. It's, one of the things, the many things that Mom sent home with me. And Minxie enjoyed it as well. Licking the cheesiness of it, because it's just like noodles and hamburger. And, like, I think she does Velveeta cheese, too. Usually. And don't drop it. Don't drop it. Hold it, don't drop it. Something, something. It's a Jennifer Lopez song. There's that. I'm pretty sure I'm filming it. But yeah, look at it. It's so cheesy. And so wonderful with the hamburger. And the noodles and the cheese and the cheese and the cheese. I know she usually uses Velveeta for it. Or at least she used to use Velveeta for it. She doesn't compromise when it comes to hamburger noodle casserole. But there's a little bit of that left, so she sent it home with me. That's going to be a very weird thumbnail. Closely zoomed in hamburger noodle casserole. But I think that's what I'm going to do. Because, yeah, Facebook worthless too a lot of times. But, yeah. You know, the thumbnails that it auto-generates. It's just a lot of my face. I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago. And it's always the same, like, it's always the same face. Of course, a lot of times I'm either, like, looking at the camera. A lot of times it gets me when I'm looking this way. For whatever reasons. And it's like a lot of times, of course, maybe I look that way a lot. While I'm thinking about the question of the day, which we will get to here in a minute. And I will shut the fuck up. I was thinking there was something else I was going to tell you all. But I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me while I'm answering today's question. It probably won't. What is your favorite thing about spring? It ain't fucking cold no more. But it's cold right now. Like, it was like 29 or something this morning, I think. And right now, my phone says it is only 32 degrees at almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Minxie loves my phone. For whatever reason. But yeah. It's not cold. You know, I don't have to fucking wear a coat or... Because, like, I was cold that's what it was that I was going to tell y'all. I was cold all motherfucking weekend. Because it was, at the birthday party, I stood outside and talked to my old brother-in-law for a bit. But, of course, you know, I mean, it was sunny. Well, I was kind of trying to stay under the eave of the house. I'm kind of surprised this side of my face isn't, like, sunburnt. Because, like, I was right there where, like, this side of my face was getting in the sun. But there was, like, a breeze. There was, like, a cold breeze that was coming through. So it was, you know, chilly then. And then we stopped off at the Wabash Barbecue. And I guess I was sitting right under an air vent or something. Because, it was kind of chilly in there, too. And then it was chilly at Mom's house. And it's, like, after being chilly all weekend and then walking, well... Yesterday, you know, I talked about being dependable. Dependable when I don't oversleep, because that's what happened yesterday. I remember turning my alarm off and having a cat ass in my face for whatever reason, because Minxie's just got to be right there where the action is when I wake up. And then I don't remember much after that. And then it was like 11 o'clock, and I go to work at 10. I overslept a little bit last night. But it made for a nice, quiet walk to work. That was for sure. But of course, it was cold last night. You know, it was like maybe lower 30s, upper 20s, whatever. When I was walking to work last night at like 11 o'clock or 11:30, whatever it was, I finally got out the Dow. At that point, I'm late anyway. I'm like, I'm not gonna rush. It's fine. It'll be fine. But where the fuck was I working? Motherfucking frozen. After all that fucking shit. Of course, we had like 7 call-ins. There were some people that already asked for the day off, and then there were 7 call-ins, apparently. Jennifer was telling me. I think it was Jennifer that told me that. Because I don't really think I talked to anybody else. Well, eventually I did. Because Tyler was kind of overdoing the 1 aisle of frozen, and I was over. Eventually, Tristan showed up. I'm saying all these names, and you have no idea who the fuck they are. And then later, Heather came over, and Steven. David! Who yells at Steven? I don't know. So yeah, there was a lot of people not there last night that were supposed to be there. You know, St. Patty's Day. Like, if people have got the time or the points, they're gonna take them. You know, take advantage of the system if you want to go out and have a good party. You know, whatever, man. I mean, you know. I don't know. They've been hiring more people recently. I am way off the question at the at the moment. I've got to look it up. I don't even remember what the question was. What do you like about spring? Yeah, that's what it was. We take journeys here. It's fine. We're going on an adventure every time. Yeah, now I adventured too far away from what I was about to say. I don't remember what I was about to say. Oh, about, you know, I mean, we've been hiring more people lately, but, you know, they always talk about, like, you know, it's your fault, and you're making things harder on, you know, you're making harder on your coworkers when you call in. Well, the company makes it hard enough on their workers, their employees, when they don't hire enough people to make sure that the shift is covered appropriately. Facts? I feel like those are facts. You know, like, make sure we're fully staffed, and, you know, I mean, they'll say that, even though it doesn't feel like we are, but, I don't know, we tend to get things, of course, even when I'm doing mods, whatever, it seems like people are getting things done, you know, and moving on and doing other things, so, I mean, maybe we are appropriately staffed, I don't know, but... You know, I know that was the thing back in the day about, you know, like, we already kind of struggled to get done what we got done, and they're like, oh, here's like 20 other things we want you to do, you know, and it's kind of like, oh, if you call in, naughty. Like, well, you should have us appropriately staffed in the first fucking place, and, you know, not run us on a bare bones crew that, you know, oh, let's see how many people we don't have to pay and get away with it, you know, like, make sure we have enough people to get the job done in the first fucking place. And then when people call in, of course, 7 call-ins is extensive. So, I mean, sometimes it's going to happen. It's St. Patty's Day, you know, whatever, man. So, you know, I understand some days occasionally struggling because, wow, we had an exorbitant amount of call-ins. Of course, you know, I guess we have an exorbitant amount of call-ins a lot, but, you know. What can you do? What can you do? I remember an old manager, well, they used to say, the answer isn't more people. The answer isn't more people. And then they were like, well, you know, you got to have the right people in the right places. You know, the different shifts, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, so what you're saying is the answer is more people. And then we had a manager say, he's like, I'm going to overstaff overnights, and we're going to, you know, so that way when people call in, you know, call in sick, it won't, you know, hurt us as much, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that ever actually happened. I remember there was like a week and a half out of the entire, like, 17 years that I fucking worked there now. I remember a week or a week and a half where we didn't struggle to get everything done. You know, like, I mean, back in the day, it wasn't as bad as it is now. But, you know, spring. It all leads to a work tirade. Who knew? So yes, being warm and walking to work. That's always nice to not. But the problem with spring is, like the other night, I already heard something run off in the bushes at one point when I was walking in the dark. And oh my god, I do not want to get between a mama raccoon and one of her babies again. Just the one dip-de-doo, you know. Like all the others, there was like 2 or 3 babies. I can't, or maybe 3 or 4, whatever. Because there was already some, like I was walking down the pathway, whatever, and then I saw this black, this dark lump up here on this side of the thing, further up, and I'm like, what is that? And then it moved when I got closer to it, because it was the mama raccoon and her babies. They were eating something that was left there on the side of the road or whatever. But then, of course, there's one baby that's just like, hey guys, where you going? What's going on? So it was a little bit behind everybody else because it was still eating, whatever. But the mama and her other raccoon babies were over here, and it was like, she was not very happy with my presence there because I got closer than I intended to get because I didn't know what that dark lump up ahead of me in the dark was until it moved. So I was already a bit closer than I probably should have been, and she turned around and bared her teeth at me a couple times. Eventually the baby did get over there with her, and I thought they took off. I thought they took off into the, there's a little wooded area there, a few trees, whatever. But then as I continued to walk, I thought I heard like a snarl or a growl or something behind me. So I'm glad there was no car coming down the street, because I just ran across the street to the other sidewalk. Because it was like, I was like, I don't want to die today or have to go get a rabies shot. That doesn't sound thrilling in the least. So yeah, that's the problem with, I do enjoy it being warmer when I walk to work, so I don't have to have like a big heavy coat on, whatever. But I know that leads to the creatures coming back out, I heard coyotes howling the other night. Of course, I don't know. They may go do they hibernate for the winter? I don't know. And I don't know if they would attack me. If I've run upon a couple deer, but they just run off. So I've never been chased by a deer. So I wasn't really chased. I like to say that I was chased by an emu at the zoo, but I just kind of kept backing up, and it kind of like kept following me. So I don't know if it thought that I had food. I don't know if it was one of those that like you could feed or whatever, but it's like I just kind of like kept backing up, and it just kind of like kept following me. So maybe we were just walking together. Maybe we were just like, power walking buddies like you see at the mall, whatever. But eventually I got back to where there was a gate, so I just kind of like opened the gate and got on the other side of it and closed it. And that's when it stopped. That's when it stayed there, because it was on the other side of the fence. So, like, bye. It never like, So I like to say that I was chased by it was very low. It was a very low speed chase if it was a chase. That might have been in the spring. I don't know. Maybe more in the summer. I think maybe that was a work trip or something. Or not a work trip, a school trip or something. I don't know. I don't really go to the zoo very often. So I don't know exactly what I was doing there. I feel like we went once for a school trip, for a field trip once, because I was trying to find the penguins. And my friend Robert and somebody else that we were walking around with, they're like, there's no penguins here. There's no penguins here. And I was like, yes, there is. Yes, there is. I was adamant about it. There are penguins here. And so we finally found somebody to ask, And they were like, no, we don't have any penguins. And I was like, damn it. I guess I just assumed it was a zoo. They would have, like, zoos have penguins. Like, that's where they live, right? At least, you know, in the middle of the Midwest. Like, we're not in Antarctica or Alaska or some bullshit, you know? Like, they live at the zoo. If they're not in their natural habitat, they live at the zoo. Every zoo, but apparently not every zoo. They might have it by, they might have penguins by now. I don't know. Maybe back in the day it wasn't. My sister kind of got involved with penguins. That was her. Um, um, she was in a sorority for a short period of time. I don't know exactly how long she was in the sorority, but their mascot was like the penguin. So beware of the penguins, dooby dooby doo. That might have been their slogan. I don't know. But so I think that's why I was. But that would have been like late in. Well, I mean, she graduated a couple years before I did. Probably like 3. My sister and I are like 3 years apart, so I guess she would have graduated 3 years before I did, if I'm mathing correctly, and I don't never feel like I am. So I would have been in high school a little bit after she went to college, especially just, you know, the first year, because she only went for 1 year. So but that trip was possibly sometime in the spring. So it's nice. You can get outside and it's nice. And, you know, I don't like the sun though. I don't really like the sun is bright and it's annoying, and I don't like it. Like, since I work overnights and I hardly ever see it, and it's outside right now. Like, I'm inside where it's like, because when we went to Fazoli's last week for Payday Thursday, Mary Lee was talking about like sitting outside, and I'm like, but the sun's out there. I don't really, like, if that's where people want to sit, I mean, I'll sit there. And it was a little bit chilly, too. There was a little bit of a cool breeze, whatever. I was like, there's wind outside, it blows shit away, like, that's part of spring. So, but maybe tomorrow will ask me what's my least favorite thing about spring. So, I've talked long enough that my little camera over here is, screen, whatever, is blinking at me. I have a little bloop, bloop, bloop. You have no more time left. I don't know how much I started with. I can't remember exactly. But now I have 0. I have 0 minutes of taping time left, though it'll usually stay filming for a little bit. So, I should probably upgrade cameras someday. But I keep dropping this one, and it keeps going. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. So, it's like, I mean, until it finally does, like, or if this, you know, the little thing cracks, so that there's like this split across my face all the time, or everything that I'm filming, you know. But anyway, I don't feel like I talked a whole lot about spring, but I definitely like that it's warmer. For sure. That's probably my favorite thing. And also, you know, like, it plays fucking havoc with my allergies, but, you know, when the trees and the flowers and all that shit start to bloom, like, that's pretty, you know, going to, you know, botanical gardens or something, you know, if they're bloomed out, you know, you can do that more so in the spring. Prettier flowers to look at. I guess unless you're like California or Florida, where it's usually always warm. Maybe not all of the state, but some of it. But anyway, so that's also nice. But anyway, once again, a journey was taken today, in a few different directions. But that's that. I don't know if we'll have any more questions about spring tomorrow. We shall see tomorrow. And I will see you for whatever I see you.